Mariam Al-Asturlabi, the guardian of the stars. In the heart of the desert, it is not hunger or thirst that kills you, it is being lost. It is when the sky becomes an unmerciful enigma.
Father, look at the sky. How can these stars in the heavens guide those lost in the desert?
They are signs and calculations, my daughter. With this astrolabe in your hands, you can make the sky speak its secrets.
Do the stars hear us, Father?
Rather, it is we who must hear them, Mariam. This brass is their language, and whoever masters this language shall never go astray.
In an era when the world slumbered in the darkness of ignorance, stumbling through the myths of the Middle Ages, Aleppo was awakening to the light of knowledge radiating from behind its ancient walls. The 10th century was not merely a number in the margins of history for Aleppo. It was a living pulse throbbing in the veins of human civilization. There, at the global crossroads where camels laden with Chinese silk sweated and met the caravans of thought and philosophy coming from Cordoba and Andalusia, the greatest capital of the mind known to the Middle Ages was formed. Those alleys paved with history did not just carry the scent of saffron and musk, they were filled with the clamour of scholars and the whispers of philosophers searching for the origin of existence. In a forgotten corner of the city's memory, where shadows embraced the light, stood Mariam's house. That house did not need oil lamps to shine. The stars of the sky descended into its courtyard every night to rest upon the tables of science. And before we dive into our enjoyable journey, do not forget to join the Scholars Academy, activate the bell, like and share the video. Kushyar al-Jili, the planter of cosmic seeds. Kushyar al-Jili, Mariam's father, was not a passing mirage in the world of science. He was a mountain of wisdom walking on 2 feet. He did not look at his daughter as a shadow following him, but as a soul soaring with him. He used to tell her, his voice blending with the scratching of pens, "My daughter, the universe is not a void, it is a poem written in the language of mathematics. The stars are not lamps for decoration, but beacons to guide the bewildered." Little Mariam would stand on her tiptoes to see what her father gazed at. She saw the circles he drew, appearing to her like whirlpools pulling the earth toward the sky. She learned from him that the astrolabe is not a cold brass object, but the cosmic pen that gives voice to the silence of space. He planted in her the certainty that perfection is an act of worship, and that an error in calculating a mile is an error in calculating time and the paths of ships.
Mariam grew up filled with a love for science and a passion for knowledge. Lingering questions haunted her. What did the astrolabe mean, the device that took so much of her father's life? How could it speak to the stars, and how could it guide the lost in the desert? She began searching for answers in books of astronomy, geometry, and mathematics, uncovering the secrets her father had told her. Once she grasped the answers, she transformed her femininity into an invincible force within her library. In that narrow space, charged with the smell of sulfur and molten metals, Mariam turned dreams into reality and imagination into fact. The fire glowed in her eyes before it glowed in the forge. She knew that transforming a mute piece of brass into a machine that reads the unseen was equivalent to breathing life into the inanimate. Her battle was not only with the hardness of the metal, but with a society that believed a woman's place was far from the reach of precise sciences. Glances of astonishment from men and women alike haunted her, and whispers of doubt surrounded her. But that did not weaken her resolve. Instead, it made her move like an arrow towards its target. She would spend months engraving a single plate, carving almukantars and meridian lines with tools she treated as if they were a master painter's brush. In every millimeter she carved, she built a bridge connecting human need for navigation with the Creator's grandeur in the arrangement of the planets. She did not possess digital algorithms. Her mind was the first processor, where angles turned into numbers and numbers into directions that saved ships from being lost in the desert, guided the wanderers in the desert, and determined the Qibla for worshippers in every corner of the earth. When the people of Aleppo retired to their beds, Mariam's real work began. She would climb the high stairs of the citadel, carrying her astrolabe as if cradling a precious infant. There, under the dark blue canopy of the sky, she detached from the material world and whispered to the stars, asking them about their secrets, their boundaries, and their places. She monitored the pulse of the sky, observing the positions of the stars, not just to record them, but to understand their secret language. She noticed that the star she saw today was not in the same place it was yesterday, and that this slight change was the key to understanding time. Her dialogues with the sky were silent and deep. She saw a constant, restless motion in the universe and translated that greatness into brass engravings that would last forever. She did not count hours, she counted cosmic steps, realizing that what she was doing was an eternal message that would save many lives from wandering and perishing in the desert, guide people to prayer times in all the world, and tell ships at sea the way to safety. She continued to work in silence, dividing her life into two halves. By day, the library and brass sheets; by night, observing the stars and tracking their movements, until she discovered the secrets of their motion in summer and winter, and where they would be in a year or 10 years. After mastering this and conducting numerous experiments to verify her data, she began teaching the secrets of the astrolabe inside the library of Aleppo. The scholars who used to mock her in the beginning, telling her that the sky was not created for women but for men, and that her place was in the home, now attended her lessons. Today, Mariam had the final word in astronomy after her invention of the complex astrolabe, in which she captured the sky. She informed them of prayer times in Aleppo, Damascus, and every part of the inhabited world. Her fame spread across the land and reached the ears of Saif al-Dawla al-Hamdani, the prince who was not just a warrior, but a patron of great minds. Saif al-Dawla summoned Mariam to his palace, not to test her, but to consult her. In a court filled with giant poets like al-Mutanabi and philosophers like al-Farabi, Mariam Al-Asturlabi stood with the confidence of one who holds the keys to the sky.
Oh, Mariam, we have heard of the instruments of the early Greeks, but what I see in your hands today is as if you have tamed the stars and placed them within a brass disc. Is this truly the complex astrolabe that has caused such a stir in the councils of knowledge?
Oh, Prince, science does not stop at what the ancients established. It is an ocean that grows deeper the further we venture into it. This astrolabe is not just a tool, it is a mobile laboratory. I have added circles to calculate altitudes and planetary positions with unprecedented precision.
And how does this machine work, Mariam?
Look, my lord, when I lift the ring and point this ruler toward the sun at its zenith, the brass speaks in numbers. With a single movement of the spider, the upper disk, I know the hour and the moment. I know when the sun will set and where the Qibla will be from any spot on Earth.
Marvelous! Do you mean to say that this small disc saves caravans from wandering lost in the desert and prevents sailors from straying in the depths of the seas?
Yes, Saif al-Dawla, and even more. It tells you the rising sign, measures the height of the mountains that protect this citadel of yours, and calculates the depth of the wells that water your soldiers. It is the language of the heavens translated into the hand of man.
Truly, Mariam. If my sword protects the borders of the state, then your astrolabe is what determines its path under the stars.
Today, Aleppo takes pride that it holds a daughter of Al-Jili who has crafted what men have failed to achieve.
The honor belongs to the science that finds a place to flourish in your realm, my lord, for whoever chases the light always needs a sword to protect them.
The prince treated her as eternal scholars are treated. He did not look at her attire, but at her mind. She explained to him how this small disk could regulate the state's movement, from securing pilgrim routes to timing the hours of battles. She crafted for him an astrolabe the likes of which eye had never seen. Every line in it spoke her name, and every engraving was a certificate of genius certified by the stars themselves. Her word became the final decider in estimating crescents and timings, proving to the world that the corridors of science do not distinguish between man and woman. Mariam passed on to the mercy of her Lord, but her soul still swims in the earth's orbits. She did not depart, for those who build for the mind do not die. Those tools she crafted with her hands traveled far from Andalusia to Samarkand, and from Baghdad to Europe, where Renaissance scholars looked at them in awe and considered her the mother of navigational engineering. Every satellite you see in our sky today, and every digital map that guides you on your phone, is an echo of those hammers that fell in Mariam's workshop. We live in a civilization whose first lines she drew. If Mariam were to see the space telescopes of today, she would know that the astrolabe she made with her hand was the foundation stone for what space sciences have reached. At the Scholars Academy, we do not tell stories to pass the time, but to awaken the giant residing within you. Every girl holding a mathematics book and every young man dreaming of conquering Mars is a child of Mariam Al-Asturlabi. Mariam did not have NASA labs or supercomputers. She only had a heart that believed the sky is the limit. History is not written for the idle. It is written for those who dip their hands into the fire of work and the patience of science. Mariam left us an eternal lesson, that perfection is the essence of survival. So work until your names become stars, and craft from your ambitions astrolabes that guide future nations. Mariam Al-Asturlabi, a woman who mixed the clay of the earth with the light of the stars, and left us a wisdom that flows with time. Through science, the doors of heaven are opened, and through perfection, names are immortalized. If you liked this video, do not forget to join the Scholars Academy, activate the bell, like and share the video to tell the nations that we are the children of the Ummah that made history and built civilization.